Hi friends, welcome back to our topic bird migration part 2. In our last lecture, we have already finished some of the points of the bird migration, and the next point in this topic will be the types of bird migration. But before going into the details of the bird migration, we must know the migration process that occurs in the birds involves various factors, and we'll summarize our last lecture in short, that is definition of bird migration, then birds navigational techniques, why and when to move, that is the factor determining the exact time of the migration, and factors inducing bird migration. As we have finished the definition also in our last lecture, that in case of birds, migration can be defined as the long distance movement, especially the regular seasonal movements between the breeding and feeding or wintering places. And migration may be of different types exhibited by different animal. Here in case of birds, they exhibit the best known example of migration, and ornithologists usually restrict their definition of migration as a regular, annual or seasonal movements. Migration in birds is mostly the journey from breeding place, that is home, to feeding place or new home, and back to the breeding place. It is therefore two-way journey from home to new home and back. That is the migration term, which is derived from Latin term migra, that is going from one place to another. Now we'll consider the next point, that is bird navigational techniques, which are used by the birds at the time of the migration, and which are nothing but the sun compass, star compass, odor map. That is the bird actually not attracted, but it tries to escape away from the odor of that particular region. Then magnetic map, magnetic compass, and genetic imprinting. These are the various techniques which are used for the bird by the bird for the navigational purpose. As far as the particular timing of the bird migration, which is decided by the bird, whether the migration that occurs during night time, daytime, or the migration that takes place during the noon time, it depends upon several factors. Majority can be classified as either nocturnal or diurnal, although no species is exclusively one or other. The choice of flight time is a part of migration strategy of that particular bird. Nocturnal, for example, cuckoos or the sparrows, they shows particular type of migration during the night time. Whereas the diurnal migration, which is observed in case of bird like pigeon and starlings. Whereas the bird of prey, they show migration during noon time, and the example, that is stork, cranes and pelicans. Then factors inducing bird migration, that is the next part of our this lecture, and there are various factors that influence or which are responsible for the induction of or inducing the bird migration. Here we must consider the factors which are responsible into three parts. It is believed that the controlling factors or the controlling mechanism for both decision making and exact timing of migration includes the first one, that is inherited behavioral traits, then second one, innate physiological time program, and third one, ability to respond to seasonal or annual changes in the day length as the environmental time cue. Then we'll consider the next point, that is the ability of the particular bird to show the sequence of event or the onset of migration, which are as follows. The endogenous component originates from the various physiological processes. This endogenous component prepares the animal for annual events, that is onset of seasonal migration, and the third one, that is photoperiod, then synchronizes this preparedness with the exact day when migration is required to start in case of that particular bird. Thus, in short, we have finished the previous lecture, that is summary of the previous lecture, and now we'll start with the types of migration in case of birds. As you know that the migration refers to periodic round trip between breeding and non-breeding areas, and most migration are annual with nesting areas of northern region and wintering grounds of the south, that is southern region. About 70% part of the hemisphere, that is Earth's land, is the northern hemisphere, and migration occasionally involves east-west movement or altitude changes. Migration allows birds to avoid climatic extremities and to secure adequate food, shelter, and space throughout the year. The reason behind migration of birds. Birds migrate in response to species-specific physiological condition, that is, it may be innate or the clocks and environmental factors influence preparedness for migration. The photoperiodism is an important migratory cue for many birds, particularly for birds in temperate zone. The changing photoperiod intimates seasonal changes in gonadal development that differ often serves as the migratory stimuli. Increasing day length in the spring promotes gonadal development, and decreasing day length in the fall of the initiate gonadal regression. In many birds, the changing photoperiod also appears to promote fat deposition, which acts as an energy reserve for the migratory purpose. As you know that the energy which is stored in the fat is twice as compared with the carbohydrate and proteins. The anterior lobe of the pituitary gland and the pineal body have been implicated in mediated photoperiod responses. The mechanism of migration are species specific. Some long distance migrants may store fat equal to 50% of their body weight, and therefore they can make non-stop journeys. Other species that can take more leisurely approach to migration begins their journey early and stop frequently for feeding purpose or rest. In clear weather, many birds fly at altitudes greater than 1000 meter, which reduces likelihood of hitting tall obstacles. Many birds have species-specific migratory routes, which are shown in my last lecture. In case of the 10 birds, the routes which are followed during the migration. Now we'll consider our main point, that is type of bird migration. There are 11 type of migrations. One is latitudinal, north-south. Another is longitudinal, east-west. Then altitudinal, loop, nomadic, eruptive, dispersal, leapfrog migration. Then reverse migration, molt, and drift migration. These are 11 types of bird migration which are observed. First we'll consider the first one, that is latitudinal. This migration occurs between the areas of different latitudes from north to south and vice versa. This is the most common migration seen amongst migrants of neotropical realm. The exact direction of migration is often determined by geographic features such as mountain ranges. One is the longitudinal migration, similar to latitudinal migration. This type of movement is a change between different longitudes from east to west or west to east. This is common type of migration in Europe, where geographic features encourage bird to move longitudinally rather than latitudinally. The example of this picture in this slide shows the movement of birds from east to west or vice versa, which is known as longitudinal migration, and example is of evening grosbeak that nest in northern Michigan space, and bird spends the winter in New England. California gulls that breed in Utah migrate westward to winter on Pacific coast. And last example is of starling move from East Europe to Asia to Atlantic coast, which is shown here. The third type of migration is altitudinal migration. The birds that breed in all mountains often exhibit altitudinal migration. They move to lower elevations in winter when harsh weather and deep snowfall may make staying at upper elevation impossible. Birds that use altitudinal migration may not venture far in terms of overall mileage, but till just a few hundred feet of elevation can make a great difference in their habitat. And here in this example, the grey-headed canary flycatcher in Uttarakhand is shown, where it is thought to breed above 1200 meter elevation and winter below 750. What's the timing of this altitudinal migration, which is shown? If we look at the percentage of e-bird list from Uttarakhand, that is from the 20,000 list reporting these species separately for regions above and below 1000 meter in elevation, we see that it heads to wintering grounds in October and returns to breeding habitat in February-March in the right season. That is 20% of the list report this beautiful bird, which is shown in this slide. Next one is the loop, that is fourth type of migration. Birds that follow an annual cycle are loop migrants. This migration includes two distinctly different routes to and from the breeding grounds, often takes advantage of various resources at different times of the year. Loop migration is commonly with many seabirds and shorebirds, as they use seasonal variation in wind patterns to aid their flight. And the example is annual cycle of long distance migratory bird, that is American redstart, has been shown in this diagram with the annual cycle from January up to December in various phases. Fifth one is the nomadic. This movement is less predictable and can be erratic depending upon the available food and water resources. Nomadic birds tend to stay within the same range. They may completely absent from the part of that range when the resources are scarce, and they return to their original habitat when the conditions becomes more suitable. That is, on arrival of the favorable condition, they return to their original habitat. Sixth one is the eruptive. Bird eruptions are highly unpredictable but spectacular, as they bring large number of birds into unusual areas. Bird eruptions are most common in winter, enhancing the search for suitable food and water resources, and the example is of starling. Next one is the dispersal. While not always considered as a true migration, that is, this is not always, dispersal is not always considered as a true migration, though observed only once a year. In this migration, juvenile birds are forced away from their hatching grounds and must seek out their own territories, as their parents continues to use the same range, and therefore dispersal is essential for getting more food, or their making the territories of their parents safe. This is more common among the birds that are year-round resident of the same range and will define their territories throughout the year. Eighth one is the leapfrog migration, and in this type of migration, which is also referred to as skip migration, is a unique one. And in this pattern, where the northern population migrate a greater distance to skip over sedentary population of the same species. That means the distance which is actually, if the bird travel straightwise, it will be more, even though it looks like taking a round in this diagram. A year-round pattern is observed between the breeding and wintering ground of the leapfrogging population, but the individual population do not extensively mix. Here the leapfrog migration in fox sparrow is shown in this diagram. That is 8th leapfrog migration, and now we'll move to the next, that is 9th one, reverse migration. The reverse migration is an aberration among migratory birds and is most often seen in autumn, when young birds can become confused or disoriented and instead of migrating along the expected route actually go in opposite direction, ending up as vagrants far from their traditional locations. This is not usually seen with large number of birds, but is more likely seen with individuals and isolated sightings, and the example is of seagulls, which is shown here in this photograph. Now the next one, that is 10th, molt. That is when the molting of the bird takes place, the animals, they can become prey, and so as to avoid that the migration which is observed. Some birds migrate only to accommodate their annual molting period when they leave an established range to stay at a safe, secure range. They are vulnerable and less capable of flight, even during brief flightless period. When the molt is complete, they return to their regular range regardless of the season or breeding readiness. This is a phenomenon among a wide range of duck species. It is not common with other type of birds, and the example is painted bunting in the middle of its molt process in Sonoran joint venture region, the HJC region, which is incredibly important area for the birds of Western North America for molting purpose. The bird is shown in this photograph. Now we'll move to the next, that is last one, drift type of migration. Drift migration is a rare but highly anticipated event in case of many birders to hope to see. When it happens, large number of migrating birds have drifted away from their typical migratory routes, often pushed by the storms. This can result in spectacular fallout events and many rare bird sightings. Example is the Mississippi kites, which are drifted across Texas skies on their way to wintering grounds. And here in this picture, migrating flocks of Mississippi kites waves through the air as they were paper kites blown by the children. It appears to be in this picture. Now the last point, that is advantages and disadvantages of the migration. First we'll consider advantages. The advantage of migration during the winters is to help the birds to avoid extreme cold and stormy weather and to avail the abundant food provided by the spring vegetation. During summer, the high altitudes have long days, which provide more time to forage on the large reserve of food. It also ensures more time for breeding purpose. Now we'll consider the disadvantages of migration. First is the loss of habitat. That is, due to loss of habitat, no fuel on flyway. During migration, birds rely on habitats for food and rest, so as to refuel and repose before continuing their long journeys. These habitats are in danger due to increase in the temperature, flooding and desertification. Next point is the climate change. Global warming influences the routes of many migratory birds and their annual migration rhythm. A lot of migratory birds change their routes or cancel their journey. Example, that is, some small bird species do not winter in Spain or France, but instead of which they prefer to stay in England. Third one is that is disadvantage, that is food storage. The warm spring temperature leads to an early arrival of many birds. Example, that is British bird arrive at their breeding areas 2 or 3 weeks earlier than they did couple of years ago. Thus they start to breed early. At the same time, increasing temperature help the vegetation to bloom. The insect also hatch early. Unfortunately, these shifts are not in line with each other, that means unmatched. The vegetation bloom and insect hatching occurs much before the young birds hatch. As a result of this mismatch, the bird cannot provide enough food for their offspring, and that may leads to the disadvantage of the migration, that is mismatching of both. With this we have finished our topic, that is type of bird migration. And as you know that the bird migration is divided into 11 types, and the last one is the deep migration. Thank you for watching video. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe for the benefit of the maximum students. Thank you once again.